Okay, so we are going to go through a call here with our trained appointment setter, and then we're going to go and sort of compare the other calls here and just add some commentary in between. Hopefully this adds a little bit of value on sort of how we do it, and then the comparison with some feedback on what could be done a little bit different. So there's going to be a few calls in here. You're going to see that Cameron talks to a few people, but then you're also going to see how he leaves a voicemail. So I'll just pause it as we kind of go through it so that you can hear both, and I can just add a little bit of commentary on it.
Okay, so here's one where he's going to be leaving a voicemail, I believe, so we'll just let it go.
You have reached the voicemail box of...
Hi, this is Cameron. I'm calling from Orbis Group. I'm Christina's assistant over there. It looks like you requested some information about our Quebec Nurse Home Buyers Program, so I was just reaching out to get you on the calendar to speak with Christina for a few minutes on the phone. If you have any questions before I'm able to get in touch with you, feel free to give Christina a call over at Orbis Group. The number is 5. Have a great day.
Okay, so you can tell in there, first he doesn't mention anything about the ad campaign, he doesn't mention anything about opting into something, he simply just gets to the point of saying, hey, it looks like you requested more information on something. He also says the name a couple times in there. When he calls, he says that he's calling as the assistant, whereas if you're making these calls for yourself, basically it's kind of the same idea. Hey, you requested some information on something, I just want to talk to you for a few quick minutes.
Yeah, you always want to be trying to provide value, and you always want to make sure you have a program or something for to exchange that follow-up phone call with them. And when leaving the voicemail, it's super important to make sure that you're providing that little piece of value for them to actually want to call you back. And that's how you can essentially fill your pipeline when you have a lead source through even voicemails and getting those inbound calls back. I'm just going to pause this video real quick here so we can line up the next one of him setting an actual appointment. All right, cool. So we found it. So I'm just going to let this call play out real quick, and then we'll go over it.
Hello?
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Hey, this is Cameron calling from Orbis Group. How are you doing today?
I'm good, how are you?
Doing great, thanks. Hey, I'm Christina's assistant over here, and I was just calling because it looks like you requested some information about our Quebec Nurse Home Buyers Program. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Would you like to get on the calendar to speak with Christina for a few minutes on the phone and go over things?
Could she call me back at another time? I'm just at work right now.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. Do you know when you'd be most available?
Probably after 5 o'clock.
Shoot. Do you have any day coming up that you'd be available before 5 o'clock by chance?
Probably on Thursday.
Thursday? What time on Thursday?
Yeah. I guess around noon, 1 o'clock.
Okay, I'll put you in for 12:15. Does that sound okay?
Okay. Yes,
And
that
then,
sounds fine.
real quick, what was your last name? All right, I'll get you in the calendar for Thursday at 12:15, and Christina will give you a call then.
Okay, then perfect.
Enjoy your day.
You too. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so you can tell when he opens up that call, when he first gets on it, and he asks the name sort of with a question mark, so that it really leads him into just, talking to them. Hey, is this Sarah? And a lot of the things that he says, he's almost saying with that, question behind it, because that's going to get that, micro commitment of them just saying yes to things. And it's super casual. He's just like, hey, when can I get you into the calendar? And that's really the intent behind your very first contact with them, is you want to show that you're busy. Like, she had time available after 5, but Christina's not available after 5. And so you want to have those types of rules as well, because that's really showing that you're busy, your time's important, you're the authority. You'll talk to them when you're available, type of thing. Obviously, in certain cases, you might need to be a little bit flexible, but you always want to be very in control of everything, even when you're just doing something as simple as setting the appointment. And she almost had an objection in the beginning, like, oh, I'm a little bit busy right now. And that's pretty normal, and that's why it's super important just to get that appointment. And again, even though you get that commitment to an appointment, that doesn't necessarily always mean that they're going to show up. I mean, it's the nature of human beings. Sometimes they don't show up to their meetings. It's annoying, but it happens. But at least at this point, you've narrowed down a time that they're probably going to be available and they're going to be ready to talk to you, versus just bombarding them with trying to get them through an application, get them all the information, and just really go through everything. Because if anything's chaotic in their world, they're going to be less likely to want to go through the call with you. And if they're frustrated at that point in time and there's a million things going on, chances are they're going to have, you know, some negative thoughts inside of their head about the entire process of everything. So it's super important that that first contact is just to get an appointment with them.
Yeah, you really want to just focus on that, and then just have some micro objections ready. Like if they say this, I'm going to say that, right? So no matter what, the whole end goal is just, like Jade said, to get them on the appointment. Never try to sell them on anything. Obviously, if they have some free time like right now, then you can just make that easy transition into opening up what your program is or what your offering is. Make sure no matter what, you do have an offer and you give it some sort of name, and it's clear what they know that it's that name, because it's going to make those transitions a lot easier than just saying, oh hey, you opted into my Facebook ad and now you want more information on this house or this loan or whatever you have to offer them. Like give it something sexy to make it more enticing to the end user. Okay, so I'm going to pause this now and I'm going to bring up another series of calls and we'll go over those. All right, let's just see here, get this out of the way. Cool. Okay, so we have another call, and we're gonna break that down real quick. Is there anything you wanted to say beforehand? No. Okay, we're just gonna jump right into it. It's short.
Hi, Mark. It's Sean Markages. You filled out my form from my Facebook ad, so I was just calling you to see if you had any questions or if I can help you in any way. My number is 226. That's my office number. Thanks, Mark. Take care.
Okay, so biggest things on this call would be talking about filling out information on a Facebook ad. So you kind of want to avoid doing this just because people for some reason don't like feeling or even admitting to opting into something on the internet. For some reason it's like a social faux pas to be like, oh yeah, I always opt into stuff online. So for some reason people are totally bizarre about that, even though everyone does it. So instead of saying, hey, you opted into my Facebook ad, just say, hey, it looks like you requested more information about my program, and then just name the program name or whatever. And then in terms of, because it says, oh, if you have any questions, give me a call back. So instead you more so want to request that they call you back and not necessarily tell them like, hey, if you have more questions, give me a call back, because this guy might be like, I don't have any more questions. I don't know if this guy can help me. So instead it's more of like commanding that they call you back. Not, obviously you don't want to be aggressive about it, be like, you must call me back. But just framing it in a way that, again, that you're the authority and that they should be calling you back. In most cases, leads don't usually call back. That's pretty standard. I think it's it's
like 5%. So if you leave 100 voicemails, you should get 5 calls back. And typically, if they do call you back, that's already proven to be a warmer lead, so it should transition into a meeting. And yeah, just like Jade was saying, just be super assumptive that this is something that they can't afford to lose, and that they should be essentially taking advantage of the program or your package that you have, because it's really good for them. Mm-hmm. Cool. So that pretty much wraps it up for our training. You can kind of see the difference between voicemails and setting appointments, on how this can be super important, and just tweaking your scripts and things like that can be very beneficial to your business, because it's going to increase your overall conversion rates. So I hope this helped